Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Well, happy Saturday, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and in the springtime feel of things, and almost Easter. Happy Easter to everybody, and also to all my friends I was celebrating Passover in the last couple of days and into next week. So we got a lot of celebrating going on and so forth. 24 degrees and frosty this morning, but holy mackerel, you couldn't ask for a more pretty drive over here today. Skies were clear, sun was up, the skies were blue. I sound like a song here, but anyways, it was gorgeous. And I say this constantly. I know some people might say, here he goes again. But what a wonderful place to live in Chautauqua County. We may not be the wealthiest. We may not have everything that everybody else has, but we got natural resources. We've got beautiful vistas of the lakes and just so many natural things, plus, the cultural things as well. But I was thinking about that on the way over here. It's just gorgeous this morning, and we're supposed to have a beautiful week. So what a nice way to have an Easter break for those of you who are on vacation or those who are just enjoying the nice weather, family get-togethers. Tomorrow's supposed to be a pretty nice day, sunny and not too bad. I always like it when at Easter time when it's nice out, because that means the kids can go outside. And the dogs and everything and everyone else. So anyways, I hope you're having a great Saturday, and again, I hope you have a nice weekend. Say good morning to all of you that are watching right now, whether you're watching us streaming throughout the world, or good afternoon if the same thing, just depending on where you are. And shout out always, every week to our friends in the Ukraine. We're thinking about you all the time, okay? I read the updates and things like that, and well, you're on our minds and in our thoughts, so hang in there. Let's see. We are live, and if you want to give us a call, if you have a question or comment, announcement you want to make. For instance, a couple weeks ago, somebody called in and announced it was their birthday as well as Chris Burt's, remember? So, I mean, you can call in and tell us it's your birthday. I'm cool with that, or anybody else. So you don't necessarily have to tell us how old you are. That's always a no-no, but that's up to you. But we do encourage you to. So the number is 716-753-5225. Again, 716-753-5225. You can call us. If we're not live, don't call. You can get a number. There'll be some kind of a voice, I guess. I've never called off time. Justin, what happens if you call and nobody's here? Is there a answer machine? All right. So you can leave a message if you want, or you can email us throughout the week. And as you know, I have announcements, and we're happy to share them with your club or organization. And I always point this out to folks. Use the program because we're live, we are current, and we are on the air twice a day throughout the week, and it costs you nothing. If you have to pay for what we announced, it would be a lot of money as far as trying to put it into print or even, pamphlets and posters. You got to do a combination of things, but we can help promote whatever it is you need to promote. Okay, it's just something to think about. Let's see. Want to say good afternoon to my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power of the people in Jamestown. Good afternoon. Thanks for checking in. Now, you might say, what's the show today? Today, I like to think about it as this. If you are retired or getting close to retirement, have a plan. Find out what's going on in the county, because there's so much to do around here once you are a senior. People think when you retire, you go home and you live a little while and then you croak. No, there's a lot to do here. I am 71 years old and I'm busier now than I've ever been in my life. In fact, I'm even thinking about cutting back a little bit because I'm getting overwhelmed with the things I'm involved with.
You said that before.
I've said that before. I got to take that to heart, Justin. You are right. You keep me honest. Anyways, we're going to be talking about my guest from the Office for the Aging Services today, and we're going to be talking about things you should know, things you can do, things you participate. Because I got to tell you, I know people, they stay at home all winter long, and they're bored, and they're vegging out, gaining weight, getting poor health, whatever. And then when summer or spring comes, then all of a sudden they come alive, and that sort of thing. You can keep a busy life all year round. What?
Round is a shape.
Yes, there are round people. Anyways, I'm getting my little commentary from my cameraman here, Justin. Anyways, but there's things that you should know about as you age, and it's a process, it's a lifestyle and so forth, and we're going to delve into that as we often do, at least once, maybe twice a year here at Chautauqua Sunrise. All right, before I move on to anything else, I want to do a shout out to the folks at the Northwest Ice Arena. What a blast we had. The Midnight Growlers, my band, we played for the Grapes and Hops Festival. 800 people were there. How cool. People were dancing, they were singing with us, playing air guitar with me. We were doing Truckin' by the Grateful Dead, and everybody was going right down the line with me, and it was a good time. So thank you folks for having us, and it was nice. And right along those lines, as I always say, check out the live music in Chautauqua County. It's bursting. A lot of my friends, their bands are back after the pandemic. I know you're still talking about the pandemic, Doc. Yeah, I'm still talking about it because the pandemic shut down almost every band I knew for the most part for a while. And now they're getting back in gear. The venues are opening up, and there's tons and tons of entertainment all over the county. You just got to check it out. And for example, and again, self-serving efforts here, we'll be at the Grace and Abe's just down the road in Westfield tonight from 6 to 8. I like to do shout outs to the various venues we go to because I like to promote the locals, okay? So but that's just one of many venues that are in the area, in your social clubs and things like that, veterans and Legion halls, all that sort of thing. Get out, just go for a fish fry, go for a drink, whatever. Just get out of the house. It's that time of year, and it's good for socialization for yourself. All right, so with that being said, I am going to go to announcements, and then we'll get to our guest who's anxiously waiting to come on. First Fridays begin May 5. This is from the Chamber of Commerce. First Fridays are back this year in Westfield starting May 5th. This street fair event will be held in downtown Westfield, organized by the Westfield Barcelona Community Chamber Committee. The theme for this season opener is Cinco de Mayo. First Friday runs from 5 to 8 p.m. and is fun for the whole family, with businesses staying open, vendors offering food, and a whole lot more, and sometimes entertainment. If you want to be a vendor or sponsor, you can easily sign up online through their web calendar at chautauquachamber.org, or for more information, contact the Community Chamber Coordinator, Ms. Grady at sgrady@chqchamber.org, or give them a call at 484-1101. Additional First Fridays for this year will be held June 2, July 7, August 4, September 1, and October 6. Let me make a little commentary about this. This is kind of interesting. A couple of 3 years ago, I was an actor in a little production called Harvest Moon, and I was the spirit of Shelley Green, who used to be the mayor of Westfield. And during that play, they talked about various characters that lived in a particular time frame, and I would say like the 50s and 60s, the 40s in Westfield, in the general area. And why I mention it is because Fridays in Westfield was sort of like First Fridays, that people would come out Friday nights and people would have their dresses on racks, or they would have foods, the doors open, or they'd be offering things. And it was a hustle bustle kind of event during the nice seasons. And so this is sort of a throwback, I believe, to those days. And if you haven't been to a First Friday like in Westfield, there's a lot of people on the street and hanging out, and it's a nice socialization time. And they often have music, or there's speakers blasting music and stuff like that. So kind of check it out on a Friday night, starting May 5. All right, now for you guys and gals that are plant people, we were just talking about gladiolas, huh? The Chautauqua Master Gardeners announce their 11th annual plant sale. All right, here we go. Let's see, the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Chautauqua County Master Gardeners Program is inviting the public to the 11th Annual Master Gardener Plant Sale. It will occur on Saturday, May 13th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the JCC Science Building on Faulkner Street. This is the largest community event and fundraiser of the year for the organization. Available at the plant sale will be perennials, annuals, vegetables, and herbs. There will also be gently used gardening books, equipment, and garden art. Okay? To ensure safety of our gardens, we will be following recommendations from New York State Ag and Markets to reduce exposure and transport of jumping worms. There's a long Latin term, I'm not going to call it that, but they're called jumping worms. The roots of the perennials will be washed and repotted in new soil. Master gardeners from the helpline will be available to answer gardening questions and also do soil testing. Sometimes our soil is a little tired. Bring in a sample and have the pH tested for free. All right, so that's way cool. Now, if you're interested in this, give them a call at 664-9502. 664-9502. Now, I got to tell you, I come from a long line of gardeners. My dad loved gardens. I'm not sure where he got it from, because when he was a young child, they lived like an apartment. But when we got our home in the 1960 over in Buffalo, he went crazy. He planted everything you can imagine. And this is no lie. I mean, his yard was like, 35 feet wide. It was the lot in Buffalo, and 100 feet long, I think it was. And at one point, he had 63 different rose bushes. People came from all over the neighborhood to see my dad's garden. Well, I sort of have that bug, and we've been slowly working at developing our property with lots of plants and flowers and trees and perennials and things like that. So anyways, you want some plants? Check it out. All right, moving along. Slide 16, Jeff. Champions in the Lost King. Let's see. Woody Harrelson stars in Champions. That's going to be held today at 8 p.m. The hilarious and heartwarming story of a former minor league basketball coach who, after a series of missteps, is ordered by the court to manage a team of players with intellectual disabilities. He soon realizes that despite his doubts, together, this team can go further than they ever imagined. Champions is rated PG-13, and it's 123 minutes long. Having been a special ed teacher, is near and dear to my heart, and offering the opportunity to everybody to be able to participate in sports and be competitive, that's just a great thing. So I hear it's a great movie. Okay, then in the inspiring true story, The Lost King, this will be shown Wednesday, April 12 at 7 p.m. Amateur historian Philippa Langley believes she has made the archaeological find of the century, the lost burial site of King Richard III. She takes on Britain's most eminent historians, forcing them to rethink the legacy of one of the most controversial rulers in English history. The Lost King is rated PG-13 and is 108 minutes long. You know, tickets are only $7 plus $1 for restoration fees, and the family movies are only $6 per person. If you want tickets, go to the box office between 12 and 5 Monday and Friday, or 12 to 8 on Wednesdays, or you can give them a call at 716-484-7070, 484-7070, okay? Now, that second movie kind of intrigues me because I'm a historian for Ripley, and I just noted the other day, everybody was coming and going, and we were listening to people complaining about this and that, and they were talking about this and that, and I said, you know what? I got the best job in the whole world. And they looked at me, I said, everybody I deal with are dead. I get no complaints from anybody. I'm dealing in the 1700s, you know, so being an archaeologist or historian really has a lot of merit to it. It's really fun to go through history and find out about the lives of people. So this movie, that sounds really cool. Okay, moving along. The extension. Okay, this is again from the Cornell Extension. The Lake Erie Regional Grape Program is excited to be able to announce that the Vineyard Improvement Program has been extended for another 2 years. The program will now end on March 31, 2025. Why does that sound like it's so far away? I remember being a kid thinking, well, I wonder if I'll make it to the year 2000. Here we are talking about 2025. So all projects will need to be finished and supporting documents submitted by January 2025. Okay, the extension applies to Concord vineyard removals of at least 1 acre in New York State, in our county and other counties. The program aims to strengthen the grape industry by encouraging the elimination of abandoned Concord vineyards, which are a reservoir of disease and insect pests, and establishing healthy agricultural crops, be it Concords or other grape varieties or another agricultural commodity. Okay, so bottom line is, give me a call, 664-9502, 664-9502 if you're interested. Why would I be talking about this on Chautauqua Sunrise? Because we are a grape industry county. And I like to announce things of this nature so people that are aware of the Master Gardeners Program, movies, whatever it is, this type of thing, grants in the grape industry, we're all in this together. So it's all connected, all right? Now, here's another program that you should be aware of. This is Alcohol Awareness Month. All right, more recently we had Steve Kilburn here and we were talking about addictions. Well, alcohol is right up there. Alcohol Awareness Month was formally sponsored by the National Council for Alcohol and Drug Dependence, established in 1987, with an aim of raising awareness, outlining treatments available, and aiming to reduce the social stigma associated with alcoholism. Alcoholism, addiction, and misuse affects the lives of thousands of people across the country each year. Some notable statistics on alcohol include, here we go, this is kind of like, wow. Among the 133 million current alcohol users aged 12, or older in 2021, of those 133 million, 60 million people were past month binge drinkers, or 45% of people that drink. The percentage of people who were past month binge drinkers was the highest among young adults aged 18 to 25, or about 29%, followed by adults age 26 or older, and that would be like 49 million people. Then by adolescent ages 12 to 17. These are binge drinkers, all right? So We realize there's lots of issues and pressures in life, and that's probably why some of this is happening. But this is just as serious as the drug addiction issues that we've been talking about. Among people aged 12 to 20 in 2021, 15% were past month alcohol users. Estimates of binge alcohol use and heavy alcohol use in the past month among underage people was 8.3%, or 3.2 million people, and on and on and on and on and on and on. And the statistics are really telling here. Excessive alcohol use can increase a person's risk of stroke, liver cirrhosis, alcoholic hepatitis, cancer, and other serious health conditions. We don't think about that. You don't think about that if you're an alcoholic, if part of your body begins to break apart, that starts the domino effect, right? Excessive alcohol use can also lead to risk-taking behavior, including driving while impaired. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 29 people in the United States die in motor crashes that involve an alcohol-impaired driver every day. Let that sink in. 29 people die in motor accidents that are alcohol-related. By making people more aware of the situation and the viable solutions and treatment available, Alcohol Awareness Month aims to reduce the pain and suffering, misuse that can cause people's lives and families to just down spiral. All right, so start conversations, think about this, and I'm trying to see where this is coming from. This is coming from our friends at Prevention Works and so forth. So something to think about, folks, especially during the holidays and so forth. As kids, everybody got into the liquor cabinet, everybody snuck a beer, all right? Keep track of the young kids too, because that's even more detrimental, because as we've learned, when kids start drinking, that begins to affect parts of the brain that is permanently damaged for the rest of their life. So, food for thought, word to the wise. We're gonna take a break, stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This is Rick Mascaro, Executive Director of Lakeshore Center for the Arts in Westfield, New York. Get ready. Get ready to enjoy original works of theater from all over the world, from a stage wherever you are. Our Readers Theater provides original audio play productions, which you can find by using the link found in this post. And even more audio plays were just posted for your listening pleasure. We hope you enjoy and discuss them with your friends. Well, you can't discuss them with your friends unless you go to this site. Hit that link below. Let's go.
That's my good friend Rick Mascaro. So the link below he's talking about is going to the Lakeshore Center for the Arts. You can Google that. And why would you go there? Because there's a button there that will bring up 20 different audio clips. And what they are the 20 one-act plays that were in competition out of 200 that were submitted from around the world. And a cast of readers that have actors that have voiceovers that actually read the plays, and then you can listen to them, and then you can comment and so forth. And I was fortunate, and I'm humbled that I was asked to do 4 of them, and it was a really fun process. And yep, you'll hear me on 4 of those plays doing a variety of characters. So this is right here in Chautauqua. This is down the street in Westfield. They're doing great work in the areas of theater and the fine arts. Okay, let's go on to my topic today. So I mentioned earlier, if you're a senior or getting close to a retirement, start thinking about planning ahead, because you want to know all about what my guest is going to talk about today, for today, tomorrow, and down the road. Welcome back, Dana Corwin, who is the, you got a new title.
I do.
You're like assistant boss lady now or something like that.
Deputy Director.
Deputy Director, well, congratulations. How long has that been? Congratulations.
Just since the beginning of the year.
Okay, so I knew that was coming up, and that's terrific.
Yeah.
So good for you. You all been really busy. I know that.
Oh, it seems like we've been very busy the last couple months, gearing up in the new year. And first, just let me say thank you for letting me come again.
Absolutely. Well, Dana, all of you, Lacey, you, Carrie, Marianne, whomever, you're always welcome. We lost Chris Sharonis. What the heck?
We did.
Let's go find her and bring her back.
So she's still around. She's still doing really good work with her family business down through Warren and expanding that. So she was a wonderful asset for us, but we wish her the best.
Absolutely.
You know, anytime you have someone that works with you or that you know that is moving on to the next big thing in their life, you always want the best for them. So
Absolutely.
that's a good thing. She's a sweet woman,
Yeah.
sweet woman.
She did a lot of work with Alzheimer's.
She did.
And I know that she was impassioned and passionate about that whole area. So hopefully
And she's not going away for that. She's actually working with me on a couple things. This year I'm the Walk to End Alzheimer's chairperson again, so I'll probably see you back with that hat on. But yeah, Christine is working with me on a special event in the middle of September.
Okay.
So we're working on a couple things together that she's been very passionate about. So we'll see her. She's still around, which is good.
Terrific.
Which is good.
All right, so elevator speech. What is Office for Aging? Where are you, and why do you do what you do?
Oh, goodness. Office for Aging Services is located in 3 different areas. We're at the Dunkirk Senior Center in the north part of the county. We're right here in Mayville at the HRC building in the county offices. And then we are in a new location. I think you've been down to our new offices, haven't you? Oh, goodness, you
No,
got to come
'cause
down
I've
and
been
visit
Zooming.
us. Zoom, yes. And I do love Zoom, though. The third office is located in Jamestown. We're co-located within the Chautauqua Center on the 2nd floor. So Office for Aging Services has 3 locations for you to come, stop in, call, whatever it is. And this is actually the 50th birthday for us. So thinking back to when it started, I've got my notes up here. OFA, we changed our name a while back. I think you know that.
Yes, I know. Mary Ann corrected me one day.
Yeah,
Right,
and I have to correct myself too sometimes. You know, we forget. Everybody thinks of us as the Office for Aging, and we are. But we added another letter behind our name for fun, just to keep you all on your toes. Office for Aging Services. And the thinking behind that, as we worked with our advisory council, was the Office for Aging, when you think about it, as I age, as you age, as Justin ages, and everybody in the back, sometimes we don't think of ourselves as being older. In my head, I still feel about 26, and I'll be 56 this year. So, you know, we've got this little bit of a disconnect. So instead of saying we're Office for Aging and you must be aged to come to us, we went and really looked with our advisory council and the public to say, we want to have a name that is inclusive of everybody. So everybody is aging. So Office for Aging Services really implies that we are here for the duration. You know,
Well,
you don't have to have a destination to get to us.
And you know, when I think of that title, it also tells me services. It does not have to be for the person that's aging, but
Exactly.
for those that are married to that person, or the caretakers, or
Exactly.
family members, or what. Am I right?
You're right, absolutely. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be 60 to walk in and get services. You could be a 45-year-old son helping his dad
Absolutely.
figure out what services are available and what we should be doing. So yes, hopefully that name change a while back is really inclusive. But we started in, I think it was May 11th, 1973. So we are 50 years old this year.
1973.
20 years older than you.
That same day.
Same day. So
Really?
you've got a birthday with us. And so some of the things we wanted to come and talk to you about are our plans to celebrate our birthday.
Okay.
So we have been planning spring socials. Now, many people, I just shout out to the Panama Senior Group. I just went and met with them. Goodness gracious, I think it was Thursday. Here it is Saturday. A great group of older adults, very active, very involved, just like you were suggesting to everybody.
This is not the North Harmony group. This is a different group?
I
Panama?
think this is North Harmony, but they were meeting in Panama.
Okay, because I know who they are. Okay.
So they had invited us to come out and talk, and what a vibrant group. I said to them, the last time I saw you all was at the picnic, or sorry, the parade. They do a parade through Panama,
cool.
which was great last year. I think it was in August. So we want people to be active. We want people to be involved. We want people to be social. Just like you said in all those announcements, I too am amazed by everything that goes on in Chautauqua County. There is plenty of opportunity. And sometimes, whether old or young, we kind of get stuck in our own heads. And then we get stuck at home and we don't have the invitation or the impetus or the desire or the kind of bravado to get out and get involved.
You know what makes me crazy is I'll talk to people, I don't know, let's say they're 58, 60 years old, and they'll say, well, I'll be retiring in a couple of years, and I figure I got maybe 10 more years to live. I just look at him going, what are you talking about? You know, we're living longer and better, and you know, if you were to ask me that question, my goal is to live to be 101.
It's a great goal.
And people say, why 101? Because my brother's a year younger, and I want to be there for his 100th birthday.
Well, that's and it's good to have goals, right?
Yeah.
It's good to have things that you're interested in that you can pursue. Just thinking about all the things that you suggested there, we are not lacking opportunities. And certainly at the Office for the Aging, we have opportunities coming up. May is Older Americans Older Americans Month, and this year's theme from ACL, which is the Administration on Community Living, is Aging Unbound. And that really says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't let yourself get tied up into kind of what your grandparents did. There were so many opportunities for volunteerism, for being active, for staying engaged. One of the things I thought of when you were doing your intro was the program called Get Set Up. Have you heard about that?
Maybe.
Well, we did an article about it not too long ago. In New York State, the New York State Office for the Aging is committed to helping people through the pandemic. And this was a program that rose out of there and is still going strong. It's an online web-based platform that any older adult in New York State can get onto for free. Just create an account. And if you Googled Get Set Up, you'll find it in New York State. It has classes.
Yes, I heard about this last time somebody was
Book
here.
clubs,
Yes.
French clubs, how to do simple, embroidery, all kinds of things. And not only do they provide the opportunity to join these live classes, but they also have the opportunity for older adults in the community to become instructors, paid instructors. So if you are, I don't know, a welder and you do really interesting artwork with it, or if you, now I just thought of everybody out with welding tools. Safety first, everybody.
Yeah, painters, artists, musicians, on and on and on, fine arts.
On and on and on. So there's all kinds of
Bakers.
opportunities there. So Aging Unbound is really what we're talking about in 2023. And I
All right.
can't believe we're in 2023.
Yeah, I know that. So those that are listening and you say, I don't do computers, no problem. Ask your grandkids, they'll set you up. I have a friend down in, let's see, where is he? North Carolina. And we email, and he's that's what he does. That's it. He emails, but I'll send him links because he's quite a bit older than me, and if I send him a link, he'll click on it, but I don't know if he has the skill level to do what we're saying, but his wife will, or I'll say, talk to your grandkids.
So he's got some
there's
help.
ways to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one, thinking about some of the new programs that we're having rolled out using technology. In our home care program, our non-medical home care program, we started with a small amount of tablets that were loaded with software that was specific to seniors. Yeah. A little bit of a slow start, but we're still working on that. And it may be that we need to incorporate some of the younger generation to help.
Yeah.
And some of the older adults that are really comfortable with technology to reach out and help and do one-on-one. But we're still working that angle because we think it's very important.
This is so funny. We're talking about a couple of these things. My brother and I were just talking the other day about aging. And I forgot how he put it. He said, I said, oh, I know, because we were talking about people always saying, they're a certain age, or you can't believe this or that. And we don't feel that old. And I said, do you realize that you and I, Bob, are older than our grandmother when she passed? And it was a silence. She was 69. We both passed that.
I know.
And we always thought, wow, she was old. Well, she wasn't old at all.
She wasn't at all.
Not really. But
Yeah.
back then, she felt old. That was the mindset. 69. She was very conservative how she dressed and acted. I mean, if you look at us now, our grandparents would be driving, going, "What are you doing? You're 70 years old. Why are you acting like that?" We're running around in jeans and sneakers and playing, doing whatever we do. And,
Your guitar down
it's like, oh my God, yeah. But I mean, it's just funny to think of ourselves. Or here's another one. go back and watch some of those sitcoms or shows from the 70s, and like we watch Emergency once in a while, and you'll listen to Johnny Gage, the the paramedic. I'll say, we have a victim here. Looks like he's in his no, we have an older gentleman here that's about 65, and we're going like, what? Older gentleman. It's like,
Well,
it's the reference, the how we refer in
I
our
know.
frame of reference is totally different now, isn't it?
I haven't seen the movie, but
Perspective too, yeah.
there was a movie not too long ago with the 4 ladies, and it was all about football. And I've seen
Oh,
that.
the Golden Girls.
No, 80 for Brady.
Oh,
There you go.
80s for Brady. Okay,
I
yeah,
totally
yeah.
want to see it because
Yeah.
it looks awesome. And isn't that how we should all embrace life? You know, just it looks like they're just having fun. I don't know anything else about the movie, but it looks like fun. So we're turning 50. We've been around for 50 years in the community.
Wow.
We have 2 parties going on. So we're calling them socials, spring socials. One is going to be in the north part of the county at the Clarion Hotel in Dunkirk on May 10th. The one in South County is going to be at the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel in Celeron on May 3rd. So the first one's in Celeron, May 3rd. Second one is May 10th up in the North County. Both events run from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we are totally excited. The theme is Thanks for the Memories. So we're very excited to have something a little different. I know I talked to a couple older adults at the Panama meeting, and they said, "Are you doing the chicken barbecue at the Midway this year?" We said, "No, we're doing something a little bit different." And they said, "Why?" And we said, "We just want to have it in places where we want to be able to pull in some people that didn't have the opportunity
Right.
to come." So, you know, those are our more heavily densely populated areas. So hopefully this will be really good. We're going to have vendors, we're going to have music, we're still going to have bingo, we're going to have photos, we're going to have activities. All the staff are going to be there. It's going to be wonderful. So we're really looking forward to it. What I do want to make sure you all know is that tickets are $10 a piece, and they cannot be bought at the door, which is important, okay? Because if you do come to the door without a ticket, then we probably, I know we won't have time.
You have to plan ahead for
Yes,
food
you
and
gotta
things.
you gotta
All right, so
plan ahead
how
because everything's
do we
different
buy
now.
tickets?
You call New York Connects. You call New
We
York
got that
Connects.
number. Let's get that up, Jeff.
Let's see if you can pull that number up.
Oh,
Hey, there you go.
wow.
I am impressed.
Well done.
I am
well done,
impressed.
Jeff. 2 points.
So New York Connects is our hotline, our helpline, the Aging and Disability Resource Center, and we use it as the kind of single point of access or no wrong door to all kinds of different services.
Okay, Dana, we're visual right now, but I got people that are listening on the radio right now, so let's give them
Okay.
that number a couple times.
Okay, New York Connects helpline is 716-753-4582. We used to list 3 numbers in 3 different areas of the community, but with the advent of the telephone services and cell phones, you really just need the 716-753-4582.
Here we go.
And these events are going to be great. We've got goodies to give away. We've got vendors that are going to be there. The whole staff is going to be there. We're going to have food. We're going to have activities. We're going to be saying thanks for the memories, but we're also going to be making memories. So it'll be a really wonderful event. But
Okay, now, so you call this number. So how do you pay for it?
they will walk you through the whole process, whether it's going
Probably
to be
a credit card or something?
credit card, or there's way to pay for cash. They'll set you up with information on where to pick up your tickets at the most convenient location. So they have a whole kind of crescendo of things that
And they
they'll go
being
through.
whom?
New York Connect staff.
Okay.
New York Connect staff will walk you through the whole process.
Okay,
And we want to make sure everybody's in the system, so that might take, a few minutes to get that done.
okay. So this is a celebration.
It is a celebration.
It's an opportunity for folks to understand that there's services and get off the couch
And have fun.
and have fun.
Music, bingo. I heard some interesting things about the bingo game. I can't speak to them, but it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a 50. There's just going to be all kinds of activities. And the staff will be there having fun with you, so that's nice.
I got to tell you a secret.
What?
I'm already registered.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm going to Celeron.
All right.
May 3rd.
Very good.
I'll be there.
Very good.
It's
We'll
on
be
my
there
calendar.
too. I'm excited about it. And the Celeron Hotel is beautiful, and
Oh,
the
gotcha.
Clarion. What's in
Yeah,
common with
both
those
on
2
lakes.
Exactly, both
Beautiful.
on the lakes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope everybody will come and join us. I think it'll be a great event and a great way to start a new memory. So we also are celebrating our Volunteer of the Year. So we'll have time to reflect on this person and show how they've helped and shaped the course of aging in this county.
You're not going to tell us who it is,
I'm
right?
not. So just remember, thanks for the memories. May 3rd in Celeron, May 10th in Dunkirk, and you must call New York Connects 716-753-4582 to get that ticket. And then we have some others, and I'll shout out to the guys in the back to see if they can put up the law forums.
All right. What is a law forum?
Well, one of our core services is that we offer legal assistance to older adults. So we find that there are some common areas of law that people need assistance with. And we have 2 forums coming up. One is
That's next week.
next week, April 11th at the Dunkirk Senior Center. And this is presented by the Office for Aging and Law NY. They're the group that we work with. And it's open to the public. You do not have to register. You do not have to call New York Connects. I just wanted to clarify at the bottom of that, it says if you have questions, call New York Connects. But you do not have to register for this like you did for the spring socials, okay?
All right. So let me stop you for a second.
Okay.
All right. Dunkirk Senior Citizen is located where?
Oh, 45 Cliff Star Avenue in Dunkirk. I hope my memory got that right.
All right, because that's important, because
It is.
we got to remember to share that information, because a lot of people may not
Yeah,
know
and
where
it's
Dunkirk
not
is.
on this, so
No.
just for grins and giggles, I'm going to check on my phone while
All right.
we've got it up there.
All right.
But some of the things we've decided to do, one in the north and one in the south again, to try to reach as many people as possible. And the topics are different, you'll see. If we pop up the other one that's going to be happening in May, on May 18th, same pictures and everything, but this time 10 a.m. I believe the other one was 10:30. So it's important to understand those differences. So this one is going to be landlord tenants' rights and more. Again, open to the public. This time it's in Jamestown at the Chautauqua Center. I'm sorry that's not on there, but we'll have to, you can always call New York Connects if you don't remember where it is. So on May 18th at 10 a.m. at the Office for Aging Services at the Chautauqua Center, which is on the 3rd floor for the presentation. They've got a beautiful space up there, can take quite a few people, and again, it's open to the public. In this area, we're going to be talking about landlord and tenant rights, which is a little different than what we were covering in the north part of the county, which was power of attorney, healthcare proxies, and wills. So one of the things you said earlier, plan, stuck with me, because I do a presentation, and I'm sure Marianne does as well, and I throw that word up on the screen, plan. And not only is it important to understand, but I always say, please look at now, because it's really important to understand when you retire, what benefits you may need. You might need assistance with health insurance counseling. You might be looking for volunteer opportunities like you've got yourself hot and heavy in. You might need services.
Yes.
You know, you might find yourself in a situation where you might decide, hey, I need a power of attorney or a healthcare proxy, or I should look at a will, or I do live in private rental units or senior housing, and I am having problems with my landlord or tenant rights. So these are things that are available to you. We try to provide information and assistance and services that meet your needs as you age in place. So did you want to say something?
Yeah, I do. Just bring up the first one in April, the first one of those. I want to speak
So that's
to
the
them about.
Dunkirk Senior
Right,
Center.
April 11th one. Okay. So the reason why I wanted to jump in is because, number one, most people don't understand what power of attorney is, a health proxy, and how that fits into a will. All right, Barb and I, we took care of all that recently.
Did you? Good.
And I'll tell you why. Because when we went back to our wills, like our kids are all grown up. They're in their late 30s, 40s, and close to 50 now. And according to our wills, that if something happens to it, my brother and my sister-in-law are supposed to take care of our children.
Right.
Well, I don't think that's necessary anymore, right? And it doesn't talk about how to split up our estate or anything like that, if, when the time comes. So all I got to say is, if you had a will, I'd look at that because you need to update it. And because when you see some of these situations where someone passes, they did not upgrade their will, update their will, or have a will, It goes into what, probate and
It
all
can.
that stuff, and it's a mess. And speaking of, the Hatfields and the McCoy kind of a situation, there's like wars in families. Well, that night, Dad said I was going to get that piece, and Grandma said we were going to get that, and
I know, it can be very
spell
difficult.
it all out, and you will have a peace of mind, and so forth. So I just would really encourage people to go and look. It's a little bit of money. It's not all that much, but just depends on who you work with. But it's well worth the investment and peace of mind that you have your affairs in order, even at 50 years old. I don't care how old you are, because you never know.
Right. Well, you made me think.
Thank you.
Rob and I have been married 31 years, and our children are now in their 20s. And we kind of had the opposite situation where we couldn't really decide on who would take care of our children.
Mm-hmm.
So we held our breath till they got to be 18. So, that was our plan.
Whoa, that was interesting.
It was a roller
Roll that
coaster.
dice.
Yeah, it really was, because you come from different families, and it's sometimes difficult to figure out the best approach.
Oh, I could just see that. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I'm going to Uncle Louie, and she's going to Aunt Sue, and thanks a lot.
Yeah. So we just rolled that dice to see when Claire got 18, she was getting assigned. But it's funny. Everyone has a different perspective, right? They have different desires, they have different needs, and it is important to revisit those things. And certainly as we age, healthcare proxies are important.
Yeah.
And medical power of attorneys
Yeah.
are really important. So this is a great event that you can go to. You can ask lots of questions. Remember, that one is on April 11th, which is, what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's
10:30. That one's 10:30 at the Dunkirk
So
Senior Center.
what's the issue with landlords and seniors?
Well, we have quite a few things with throughout the pandemic. Now that we're rolling out of that, there were quite a few issues with the situations where tenants had rights, landlords had rights, and they weren't paying rent and they couldn't be evicted. So
That's right. They
there's-
forgave a lot of that because there was the money shortage or problems. Then.
Right.
Okay.
And I was listening, and I can't remember if it was on Buffalo NPR or where I was listening to, but they were talking about now that we're past the pandemic and we're moving away from that declaration, there's a lot of people being evicted for this, that, and the other reason. In this county, we've worked with older adults in senior housing and private rentals that have challenges with their landlords. They won't let them do certain things. One of the biggest things I think of is, as we age in place, sometimes we need adaptive equipment. And some of the easiest things we can do are putting grab bars, in different places. But if you rent and don't own, you have to get the permission from the landlord. That's just a simple little thing that struck my mind. But be interesting to see. And we chose, I believe the thinking behind this was to do the landlord and tenant information in the Jamestown or Southtown area, because that's the bulk of the population, and I think the bulk of the rentals down there in senior housing.
And this isn't to cast any dispersions on landlords. This is to work both sides, right?
Right.
So if you were a landlord, should you go to this as well?
You could, absolutely. It's open to all public. So this will be giving, in our office, we have a New York State booklet, and I can see it on the shelf. I didn't bring it with me this time. And it talks about what your rights are as a tenant and a landlord. So just a review of the laws and what you can do and what you can't do. And if you do get into a dispute, what happens with that?
Yeah,
And
because
I can walk
so
you
often
through
we
that.
always, not we, but society seems to be one-sided on these arguments. But it's like, let's bring everybody together and say, did you know? And a lot of times people don't know, and they go, oh gosh, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have said what I said or did what I did. And yeah, I see your point, kind of a thing. It's like, let's get together and talk about these things.
Right.
And not to say this, as you get old, you get forgetful or you don't understand, but you get up to a certain point, or people's memories are failing, or their cognitive skills are decreasing. Sometimes they honestly don't understand what is meant by certain things. So this would be a great thing for caregivers to go to, I would think.
Anybody that has a vested interest in landlord and tenant rights. If you're renting in the county, this might be a good refresher to understand what your rights are. So
Yeah, cool.
be interesting. I mean, we've had different situations in the county, both senior housing and certainly the rents in Chautauqua County getting to be outrageous.
Yeah.
You know, we went to a forum up in the north part of the county in February, I think it was. It was for the IDEA Coalition, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Access. And
Bishop
one of
Clark.
Bishop
He's
Clark.
coming on the show in a few weeks.
Oh, wonderful. Well, he'll be able to speak more to that. But one of the things that I heard from the public that was there, and we were listening, trying to get an understanding of what the public was struggling with, was the rents were outrageous. Like, you cannot find a 1 or 2 bedroom house or apartment in a house for less than $1,000. You know, and if you're you know, have a job that doesn't pay that, it's very difficult for people. So that was an interesting thing that came out that I really wasn't aware of. You know, in senior housing and HUD housing, that's a different formula, right? You know, they look at your income and it's a certain percentage, but in private rental, it can be very difficult.
Yeah, and this is Chautauqua County. Imagine if you're going
Exactly.
West Coast, you know, East Coast, the metropolitan areas. You know, I've read where, you know, people have a flat on the 5th floor at $2,600 or something crazy like that. You
Right,
know, for
right.
a single bedroom.
And here we are in Chautauqua County facing, you know, a housing shortage for people and a rental shortage. So might be a good idea to go, but I do want you to remember that this one is at 10 o'clock and it's at the Chautauqua Center in Jamestown, and that is 107 Institute Street.
Okay.
So, and you have to go in on the bottom floor, take the elevator up to the 3rd floor for that presentation. That one's at 10.
Okay, super.
So we've got the spring socials, north and south. We've got the law and why forums, the legal forums, north and south. So it's interesting as we look back. Marianne and I were talking just this week about the changes. So I would give a heads up to look out for her article coming up. She did a great job outlining, thinking about our 50th birthday, the changes that have happened over the decades in our agency. You know, in the 70s when they started, the real nut of the services was all around nutrition. You know, nutrition services. Funny thing is, we keep finding these pads of paper that have like a chicken and a beef and a pig. I think they've been here since the 70s. Wow. And we always enjoy seeing that. But they were nutrition and transportation and physical fitness. That's really what started in the 70s. And then in the 80s, we had housing and we had senior home care programs that started. CASA and what we call ISEP, or expanded in-home services for the elderly, adult daycare or adult day services, and the ombudsman program. Have you had anybody in from the ombudsman program?
No, because I can't say the word.
Ombudsman.
No, I haven't.
People Inc. is
Thank
the
you.
agency in the Western New York area that run the ombudsman program. We had it years ago, and then it got centralized.
This is somebody that speaks on behalf for somebody, right?
Yes.
I actually know what it is.
This is a person that works in the nursing facilities and assisted livings and can be the voice for the client. So, but they're a great person to have on as well. But they started in the 80s. In 90s, we expanded to health insurance counseling, which has really taken off, and a very important part of understanding what you may need in the community, because insurances change, formularies change. So during that period of open enrollment, which is typically in the fall, at the end of the year, that's the opportunity to review and understand.
Open enrollment, would that be the time of year that starts like in October, goes
Yep.
to December, where I get 43
Yep.
things in the mail every day?
Yes,
Oh
that
my
is
gosh.
from all kinds of providers.
Oh.
So, but so important. And then in the 90s, the elder abuse program and the caregiver support program really came. And we can really see now in this decade the importance of all of these programs. But it just goes to show you, you know, as things change in the community, as needs change, as we age, the Office for Aging Services has responded to that.
And you know what? You're still responding to every one of those things you mentioned. So you guys have a lot of dishes you're spinning.
We do have a lot of
Because I was thinking,
pizza pie in the
you know,
air.
Carrie Skelton has been on here talking about nutrition, and Lacey's been talking about dietary things, and you all have been talking about elder abuse and housing. So I mean, we've covered all those topics over the 9 years that we've had the show now. So I'm sitting here going like, yeah, and you keep adding to your list, don't you?
I know, we
Wow.
do. And part of our job, you know, our mission has always been to provide information and services that promote independence, health, and safety in a secure environment. So that's really been our mission for many, many years. Recently, we've been reworking some of our basic mantra, and now we're really looking at our mission as guiding and connecting and advocating for services. We haven't lost the information and services about, aging well in the community, independence, health and wellness, and security, but we've moved that to say we also are going to guide you through the process. We're going to connect you to the services, and we're going to advocate on behalf.
There's been a paradigm shift, I'd say, in the last 20 years, overall in our society, moving away from institutionalization. And I don't care what institution we're talking about, but keeping people out of institutional type situations and keeping them at home, whether it's somebody with a disability, whether it's a senior or whatever. And because I know that, people didn't want to go to a nursing home because that's where you go to die. That was always the mentality. Now you stay home and you stay. Right. We bring the services to you, right? I mean, that's a paradigm shift, right?
It is. And even in my time, 32 years as a registered nurse working in geriatrics, it used to be early on in my career when you had your gallbladder removed. Not only did you get a scar from here to here, but you stayed in the hospital for a week.
Right, now it's
and
just
now
zip,
you
zip,
do it outpatient. And people stayed in the hospital longer, and nursing homes were where you went to spend the rest of your days or years.
Right.
Now we have these transitions of care that happen very quickly.
Yeah.
We have acute care for illnesses and injuries that are reacted to very swiftly with medication, treatment, surgery, and now we have nursing facilities known as short-term rehabs or subacute rehabs that take care of somebody that's just come out of the hospital maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And then we have the transition down into what we'll call the kind of regular nursing homes that have the short-term rehab for knee replacements and dehydration and infections. And then that transition there goes from there to home.
Right.
So our job is to help give information all along that process to educate people and to guide them and to connect them with services and to advocate for them.
Dana, we've talked about a lot of things right now. In your mind today, whatever today's date is, April 9th, 2023, what would be the number one challenge that you see for the aging population here in Chautauqua County? What floats to the top?
Immediately, direct care workers.
What does that mean?
It means that we are in a situation where the state budgets have not supported the growth and the payment in Medicaid. So when you look at where people are in the community, I think some of the information I had on my phone was about 70% of the people in nursing homes are paid by Medicaid. And a good bit in the community are paid by Medicaid. Okay. Our program at the Office for Aging is not a Medicaid home care program, but what has happened is the reimbursement rate in these areas has not been elevated over the years. It's remained stagnant. So that agencies, institutions, organizations are operating at a deficit. So not only are they getting paid less to take care of more critically ill and long-term needs, they also can't pay the workers enough. So we went through that whole process in the last couple of years where direct care workers went from, what was it, $12 in some sense, that was the minimum wage, to $15. January we went to 16.
I remember these discussions. Yeah.
October we're supposed to go to 17. So the idea is, the thinking is to elevate the wage for the direct care worker because we have an enormous population that's aging in place.
Yeah.
And if we don't have the workers to take care of them, we're going to have this backlog of people that can't get out of the hospital because there's no place for them to go. When you look at our county, think of the WCA home. It closed its doors in February. Many of the long-term care facilities are all of the long-term care facilities are struggling for staff, and they have mandated staffing needs. Our home care agencies are the same.
Okay, I know it seems hard to believe we're almost out of time.
I can't believe it.
And you said, what will we talk about? Dana Corwin's been my guest today, folks, from the Office for Aging Services. Dana, you got like 20, 30 seconds. What do you want to tell folks, or phone numbers, whatever?
Plan. Please look at now. Think about where you are. Think about your strengths. Think about the things that you want to do. And if you think about May being Older Americans Month, Aging Unbound, think in different ways. Don't be afraid to try things. There's opportunities. You have talents, and where you may never have been able to put them into place, here's an opportunity. There's opportunities to volunteer. There's opportunities to participate. There's opportunities to lift your neighbors up, become caregivers. And aren't we all just supposed to love and take care of one another?
Seems pretty simple, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. Dana, thanks for joining us
Oh,
today.
you're welcome.
I'll see you in May. All right. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. Dana has joined me once again, and thanks a lot. You shared a lot of information today. Take it to her, folks. There's, you've seen numbers and you got the information, so it's up to you now. It's in your lap. Happy Easter, happy Passover. We'll see you all next week. I've got another interesting show in store for you. As always, have a wonderful week, and the weather looks awesome. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Could have done another hour.